Well, after enough technical difficulty, which turns out the button was literally just in the wrong area.
Yeah. Yeah, just
on the wrong setting.
Doesn't let you turn it on if it's on that setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we met our new third host, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I stayed in the car in case we needed to make a quick getaway.
Yeah, we went to the gas station to get batteries.
Yeah.
Turns out it wasn't batteries.
No.
It was just that fucking button.
What if it was both?
It's true. It could have been both.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to test it.
I don't think it's both. But,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Well, if you ever want to turn it off, you just flick that hold button.
Never turn on again.
Yeah.
So what is the name of your podcast? It's called Roving Slant.
It is. Yeah. He was asking all about it.
Yeah. We gave him the Parasite pill right there in the gas station.
That's right. We're going to check in with him next week.
Yeah. After he starts his detox.
So all right.
Yeah.
I mean, we should start with that because that was the last thing I remember.
Yeah, I think that's the next thing we have to talk about. So I think I'm on day 12 of Scram is what I've been taking.
Yeah.
It has everything all in one. I did actually, before I found Scram, bought all three things separate, like the cloves. So now I got a bunch of cloves, wormwood, and black walnut hull. So if the apocalypse happens and we need to deworm ourselves, we'll have everything we need.
Yeah.
But Scram makes it easy. It's like, essentially it's after 4 days, take 10 of these pills a day, baby. And I guess the logic is that the wormwood kills the parasite in its adult stage, and then the black walnut hull, I believe, kills it in the egg stage, and then the cloves kill it in the larva stage.
Yeah.
So that's why you're trying to attack all vectors for 17 days total, essentially, because the lifespan of a parasite, I think, is like 721 days. They hatch on the full moon. They're tied in with the moon.
What?
Yeah.
How do they know?
I think it's just gravity, some sort of celestial.
They just go like, it's
radar.
time.
Yeah, they're like, bruh, time to wake up. My guts! Chest burster, no!
Man, I'm craving some sugar.
Yeah, man, I could really use some extremely high glycemic index, simple carbohydrates that break down, and I hear screaming of a whole bunch of little worms in my stomach every time.
Yeah, so let's go get some ice cream.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, all right. Do you want to break... So, like, reading online, right, this Scram, it's a dewormer.
Yeah.
You, essentially... You take it 1 pill first day, okay? Second day, you take 2 pills, 3 for 3, 4, 5, and then once you get to 5, you take 10. Okay, right? So, typically, from what I've read, people's experiences, day 1, not a whole lot. Day 2, not a whole lot. Day 3, they crave sugar and want to die. Day 4, it's terrible. And then day 5, or day 6, depending on what review you read, everything's better. They're enlightened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like complete mental clarity.
Yeah.
So in my case, I started it, I think it was like 12 or 13 days ago.
Yeah.
And I was eating garlic cloves. So like the first several days, I had like immense abdominal pain. I don't know if that was from just eating raw garlic cloves, like 3 to 5 of them at a time. I thought my girlfriend was going to kill me because all I kept doing is farting like every 3 minutes. It was pretty bad. And then just aching and moaning about my pain. But then I started taking the activated charcoal, and that made it a lot better.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any problems after that. So whether or not it was worm die-off or just eating a bunch of...
Garlic?
Yeah, garlic. I really have no idea, bro. But activated charcoal, I think that's a solution. That might be something for that.
Yeah.
So I would say that as far as my planner goes, like the only thing I did feel like I got was the increased libido from the wormwood. But that's about it.
Yeah.
And then up until that point, I feel like I have had a clearer mind, but that could just be the thujone content of the wormwood as well. It might not even be parasites leaving your system or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm not entirely sure. And then today, I just shit a lot of blood. So, you know, day 12, maybe the worms are coming out, baby. No. Maybe I'm purging them. I don't know. I woke up and I was like, man, I gotta take a shit, dude. And just blood. And I was like, okay, you know, I only got fucking 5 days left of this. So
I mean, that's bad.
We got 50 pills to go.
You should see a doctor.
Nah, bro, we'll see.
Well, if it happens again tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, we're going to finish the 50 pills, and then we'll see.
I think it says consult a doctor if you have any issues. I think
I remember, like, a couple days ago, though, waking up with a profound sense of loneliness in my stomach. So
really?
I know that, like, your gut contributes, I mean, from your esophagus to your butthole, there's over 100 million neurons, similar to, like, brain neurons as well. So I know that there is a gut-mind connection. And I know wormwood just purges your literal entire gut microbiome. So maybe I just have all bacteria completely dead in the gut microbiome. After the 17 days, it'll be like I've nuked my stomach for that long. And then I'll be able to recover on the incline upwards. So, yeah. We'll see. I'll make it.
So, I was all on board for this. After the cabin trip, which was the last episode.
Yeah.
I was all on board. I went home. I bought my scrams. I bought activated charcoal just in case. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe. Yeah. And then I was like, yeah, as soon as it gets here, I'll take it. But then my birthday was coming up, and I'm like, okay, wait, but if I'm going to have intense stomach pain and then eat a bunch of sugar, what's the point? Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I'm not going to skip out. My mom makes a really good carrot cake. I'm eating it. Yeah. Nobody stopped me.
I get you. The worms aren't even going to stop you, bro.
Exactly. I don't care. Worms, no worms, I don't care.
Yeah,
all right?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. If it had worms in it, I'd eat it. So, I decided to hold off till my birthday. So I started 2 days ago. Yeah. Right? So, I have felt... Oh, well, actually, wait, let's build up a little bit more here. Yeah. So, So after I decided that I was going to wait, because it was like a good week and a half, 2 weeks. Yeah. Once I got the scram and I was like, oh, it's time to, I got to wait till my birthday. So during that time, I'm like, okay, I should make this like an experiment, full experiment. I'm going to eat more sugar than I normally would. Mm-hmm. So like I've been eating ice cream. I've been eating like just like random other things. Yeah. Right? And just like doing things I normally wouldn't to try to increase the worm population so that way I can tell if there's more of a die-off.
It's true.
Yeah. Now, the thing is that a lot of people that I've talked to, such as my cousin and my fiancé, have told me, this is a terrible idea, you're going to get sick and probably die. And I'm like, but it's all like natural junk. Yeah. It's not like people eat like wormwood and then die.
Yeah. I mean, it's an absinthe, so I wasn't... And the only reason that was banned in the United States was because they thought that the thujone content from the wormwood was incredibly bad for you, but obviously they did a test, and it was basically the alcohol poisoning will kill you before you get to the point of having enough thujone in your system to be a problem. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah. But, so, yeah, I mean... reading up on... So then what that made me do is I was like, oh, maybe, we'll see. I'm still going to keep the same deadline. So I did a bunch more research, right? And like looked for stuff like, hey, what's evidence that you have worms? Mm-hmm. And there's not a lot, right? You have from the worm pill, which is where we get this information from. You have that saying, you'll have increased appetite for sugar and stuff, but then there's also stuff that's like, your gut just makes more sugar-absorbing stuff when you eat more sugar, right? Because you make more bacteria to digest it. So it's like all this weird information, and then like stuff about like the activated charcoal was interesting because my fiance used to work with pets a lot, and like the way to make like a dog or cat throw up is to feed them activated charcoal, and it's like instant. Really? So in her mind, she was like, oh, if you eat activated charcoal, you're throwing up. I'm like, no, there's like a limit. And I know people use it to save people from like alcohol overdose. Mm. So there's got to be, there's got to be something. I don't know. You can eat a little bit of activated charcoal and be fine. That's what I found out, right? So I got kind of like a little negative on it, and I waited a while, and then like my birthday came around. Like, all right, tomorrow, the day after my birthday, I'm starting, right? So I take the pill, and I'm like, I'm waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
Anything. I'm just carrying on my normal day. I go back to eating less sugar and stuff, like how I was before I decided I'm going to do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, everything seems super normal, other than every once in a while I'll burp up some clove. That's about it.
Yeah.
And so I'm on day 2.
Yeah.
I took 2 pills today. Yeah. Literally nothing.
All
I
right.
literally feel nothing has changed.
All right. I guess, I mean, that's good. You obviously, I mean, it's either what, you get incredible die-off, and then I'm assuming that happens, and then they release all this, apparently, metal into your system.
The
and
gas,
then it binds to the activated charcoal, and then you shit it out. From what I understand.
Well, so I'm not eating any activated charcoal. From what I looked up, you don't want to eat activated charcoal unless you have to. So I'm like, okay, if my stomach does get really bad, I have a thing that'll fix it, is the way I was looking at it.
I mean, I've just been taking one a day, so 600 milligrams, whatever.
Yeah. From what I look up online, like, that's just bad.
I'm going to see what happens.
That's where the blood comes from, I think. I think literally, probably, actually, don't eat charcoal anymore.
Maybe I'll stop.
Okay, so because from what I looked up, like, 260 milligrams, which is less than half of that, is like a supplement, a dietary supplement. Mm-hmm. And if you start like feeling weird or whatever, you stop taking charcoal.
Okay, well, I'm glad we had the podcast today.
Yeah, because otherwise you might just die. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm still kind of skeptical on it. We'll see how I feel tomorrow.
I guess if you got a bunch of worms coming out, then we'll see, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like most people say everything happens after like day 5. I'm on like 13 or 12 or 13, so I mean, for me, I did feel clarity. I did feel like better. Yeah. And I do feel like I have more energy, but whether that's directly just because of that or I don't know.
So I've been feeling after our cabin trip. Okay. Yeah. I went. So during the cabin trip, I was pretty good. I was pretty happy. Once I got back home, I kind of got back into like a slump. Yeah. And then like a couple weeks later, we finally got like 60-degree days. Yeah. I got a hammock at home. I set up the hammock. I like went for a bike ride and like started doing stuff outside again. And like after that day, I felt fantastic. Like I've been feeling great last few days or last week or so. So like for me personally, just literally the fact that it was nice outside for a couple days and I was able to like
get your vitamin D.
Essentially, yeah. And just naturally be able to like go outside and not feel like I'm too cold or whatever has completely like I feel more clear of mind and all that other junk. Like my mind and body was in hibernation before and now I'm like, oh hey, it's time to do stuff again.
Yeah, you're like thawing out with spring coming in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it could be the worms.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe I've been talking about it, thinking about it so much. They're like, "Oh, he's gonna kill me soon. I better leave."
That's true. They're gonna start sending hormones to your brain about eating sugar and simple carbohydrates.
I can't wait. Yeah, because I've been growing them. I've been trying to get the big ones.
Yeah, you want to make sure you see something on the other end.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I've been. Yeah. I want to grow the worms. I wanted to see that. I want results. Every
time I read something about it on 4chan or the reviews for Wormwood or any of the stuff, people are like, bruh, don't look at the toilet. Just don't.
It's so weird.
And I'm like, well, I can't find pictures of this anywhere. Apparently there's a bunch of people that have done like parasite detoxes on TikTok. Yeah. And they show pictures of their shit, but it gets banned because it's pictures of your shit. Yeah. So it's like, I just want to see what this looks like, bro. I mean, what? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see the worms.
Yeah, I do.
I'm at the point where I want some hard evidence.
Yeah, I want to see the worms.
Yeah, there's a possibility, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't eat a lot of fast food. You don't eat fast food.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Like, I feel like I eat moderately healthy.
Yeah.
And you have, like, the same diet every day.
Yeah, basically. Much. I'm pretty consistent. Yeah. I mean, I definitely eat rice, chicken, broccoli way more often than anybody else, other than maybe my cousin.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know, man. Maybe we just need to get somebody that's fat, that craves a lot of sugar, and then see what they poop out if they get on wormwood.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Right? Because I feel like I'm the wrong... That's why I eat more sugar. I feel like I'm the wrong audience for the worm.
You know, it didn't sound implausible. I think the logic is there.
Yeah.
Especially because, you know, you're right. Your pets do get dewormed once a year.
So this is another thing, talking to my fiance about this. They don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have 2 indoor cats, and, like, they'll go in for checkups and stuff, and if, like, you can tell if they have heartworm, which is, like, the main one.
Yeah.
If they have heartworm, you put them on heartworm, and that's just to prevent it. But if they don't go outside, there's, like, 0 risk of them getting worms. Yeah,
which is what I've heard, but I'm thinking about it from the perspective of, like, okay, all the cats I've ever had in my entire life, we've got them from outside. Yeah. So it seems, if anything, so I started going down the rabbit hole for Toxoplasma gondii, or gondii, whatever it is. Like, there is a type of parasite that exists inside of a cat's intestine. Like, in order to complete its life cycle, it has to be within a cat's intestine. Yeah. So what it does is, it rewires the amygdala inside of a rat's brain in order to, which changes their attraction. They become attracted to a cat's urine. Yeah. And then after they become attracted to it, the cat obviously eats them up, and then the parasite infects the cat, where it completes its life cycle, and then it infects the cat. Yeah. But there is evidence that about 30 to 40% of the entire world's population are actually infected with toxoplasmosis. Yeah. But they claim that there isn't any real symptoms of it.
Well, I remember going down that same rabbit hole of that, because I was like, oh, damn, dude, what does this even mean? And so there has been, like, a few studies or whatever where they look at it through generations, and they go like, oh, if they have it, if they have the parasite whenever they're a kid, and then they go through puberty, those people are more likely to make more risky decisions, which doesn't really sound that, like, sound, right? Because there's a lot of factors in that. Like, oh, what friends did they have? Where did they grow up? What were their parents like? There's so many other factors. It's hard to say.
It is really interesting. I did see the risk factor thing. I also saw that most accidents, motorcycle accidents that result in death, they have toxoplasmosis. And I was like, that's really strange. And then also I was reading a study about sexual preferences, and people that have toxoplasmosis typically are like enjoy violent rape fantasies, BDSM stuff, and they're much more sexually promiscuous. And I was like, this seems really strange. And then you read, like, the links between, like, I've also seen a bunch of anecdotal stuff saying that people have had friends that are homosexual, and they took ivermectin and didn't become gay. They, like, it removed all their it removed any homosexual feelings that they had. Yeah. Wow. And so there's also that train of thought. Like, if toxoplasmosis rewires the amygdala in order to be attracted to things that you shouldn't, like being, I don't know.
That's right. Step it back.
Yeah, step it back. Eating shit promulgates and proliferates parasites. Yeah. So maybe there is, like, a toxoplasmosis related reason for why people are gay. Yeah. But, you know, I guess, you know, anybody gay listening to the podcast, buy some horse paste and
let us know.
Yeah,
let us know in the comments below.
Let us know if it cured you. I gotta know. Yeah. Just meter it out to weight. That's what I've read on the. This is we're not liable for anything you decide to do.
I think one of my cousins was saying that, like, people just, like, end up, like, losing their like stomach lining if they eat too much ivermectin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad idea.
Hey,
but
I mean, whatever. If you eat too much activated charcoal, you'll shit blood. Apparently.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
600 milligrams a day, baby.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do it.
Yeah. So, damn. So yeah, we gotta figure out who to actually like, because I actually have a second bottle of Scram.
Oh, do you?
I was trying to give it to my fiance. She thinks it's a terrible idea. That's why I want the evidence.
Yeah, or at least I wanted to try it first to like go through the experience to then be like, okay, it's literally nothing. It's not that bad. You should try it just to see if it'll help you. Because, there's a lot of symptoms that line up for some of the stuff. Like the teeth clenching, the bloating, all of those different symptoms for parasite die-off seem to line up like way too accurately.
Yeah. And
as well as the chances of you having parasites are higher if you traveled internationally as well.
Which I have.
Yeah. So.
Well, so one of the reviews that I really like I guess this will be the final Scram moment, but one of the reviews I read on there that I really found interesting was a guy that had pinworms, which lives like in your arms and junk. Mm-hmm. And so the dude was like, I took Scram, 3 days later, worms were coming out of my wrists. Is like, oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
And that's what I want.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to know.
Yeah. I want proof that there was worms inside of me and that gave me some kind of benefit to get rid of them.
Yeah, dude, one of the people I read was like, yo, dog, if you're going to do this seriously, you got to poop into a sifter, and then you got to sift through your poop just to check what kind of worms you have, and then once you identify the worms that you have, then you start getting the herbs that target specifically that worm in all of its life cycles. I was like, bruh, I am not shitting into a metal fucking sieve. Yeah. It out. But
like,
you know
put
what?
In the bathtub and like,
you know what? Maybe I already pooped out the worms and I'll never know because I didn't sift through my poop.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe they were 2 chopsticks away from me finding them, picking at them to see. I don't know. I guess after 17 days, I will see if I feel way better or way worse.
Yeah. Now, something else that you were doing. Yeah. You went on no coffee as well.
Yeah, I did cut out caffeine as well. And I have to say, I think caffeine was making me more anxious, but I also noticed a severe drop in the ability to concentrate.
Yeah.
So I wonder if I'm gonna need caffeine back.
Well, so you were drinking like 5 or 6. How many cups a day?
So I was drinking about 5 cups, the measurement, a day.
Yeah.
Of coffee. I do think that was very excessive.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like how much that is in ounces.
Yeah, I don't know. It's about like 2 full mugs is kind of what it was for me.
Yeah.
But I do it by the cups on the coffee.
Yeah, and
the glass beaker or whatever.
Yeah, the craft.
Yeah. Coffee term.
That's right. But so I guess like the regular serving of coffee to get the right amount of caffeine, like which is like 120 milligrams or whatever, about 8 ounces, which I think might be a cup.
I think it's a cup. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if you had
1 cup or 2 cups a day.
Yeah, I have my mug full. I have like the pour over coffee.
Yeah.
And I do 10 ounces.
Yeah.
Because I measure everything out.
I just noticed that it could be because of the Scram as well. Obviously, I stopped a lot of sugar, which stopped all the caffeine. My body literally has nothing for fun anymore.
Yeah.
So it put me into the cortisol and all the stress in my brain just shot up. And I do feel clear-headed, but there's also just a constant stress. So.
Well, do you think that... Yeah.
I think it needs to be a balance.
Yeah, I think you gotta you probably want to ease off.
Probably, but I didn't
want to do... blood, too. The blood loss.
I didn't... just a little bit.
The internal bleeding.
Yeah. I woke up, went to the bathroom, just bunch of blood. So, maybe there's something happening.
Yeah, you might be dying.
Yeah.
So check that out. Maybe. Yeah. Don't eat the charcoal.
Yeah.
Anymore.
You know what it says for the charcoal, bro? It says 2 every day. I was like, bruh, that ain't happening. I'm not doing 2. I'll do 1.
Jesus, that's a lot.
Yeah, it seems like a lot.
Well, that like if you eat too much of it, you just throw up, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That seems risky.
It stiffens your poop. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh man, I don't want to get diarrhea the whole time I'm on
Yeah.
this. So, but you know what? I don't think I've had that trouble. I eat enough fiber, so it probably doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you eat a big bowl of oats.
Yeah, the oats.
That's what I should probably eat some oatmeal tomorrow.
Yeah, it'd probably help.
Yeah.
And it's also a complex carbohydrate, so it's not a simple carbohydrate that the worms love.
Well, it's a good food.
Yeah, it's
in
true.
general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good for you as long as you don't add sugar and.
Oh damn! You guys gonna add some brown sugar?
No.
A little bit of vodka.
Yeah, a little bit. Take some avocado. I did. You know what I had recently? I ate an unripe avocado.
Yeah.
And you know what? It wasn't bad.
I love avocado.
Yeah, it was really. I was looking at it because it said the worms don't like fat. And avocado is just all fat.
There you go.
So I was like, well, I'm just going to eat fucking avocados.
Delicious.
Yeah, pretty good.
Let me tell you, fruit tier list, avocado, it's S tier.
Yeah,
Top tier for me.
Honestly, I think pineapple is pretty S tier for me.
See, yeah, but pineapple...
And that was something that kills worms, too. It's so acidic.
Really?
Yeah, burns them up.
All right.
It straight up kills them.
Just eat some lemons.
Yeah, I think that would probably work, too. I bought 2 fucking pineapples at the start of this, and I've just been eating pineapples.
Oh, yeah.
Sending them to hell.
Damn.
If I had pinworms, they just completely turned to dust in me. Hookworms, ringworms, pinworms, ascara, everything.
Whatever you got, it's gone.
I'm not sifting through the poop to find it. I'm just hoping it's dead.
Did you see it also kills like lice and junk?
Yeah, I did.
Like, why don't people just like give their kids like a little bit of wormwood? Just go like, hey, we don't need to dig through your hair or shave you.
Yeah, I was reading too that an old remedy that people used to do to kill parasites and solve stomach problems was to just drink like a little bit of turpentine. Yeah. Not the stuff that you get at the hardware store, but the 100% organic pine oil gum spirit, that. And they would just drink it. They'd mix it with water or whatever. It's kind of like an alcohol or whatever. Yeah. And we just stopped doing that. I imagine if we were doing that, you wouldn't even have to worry about worms. It would never happen.
Yeah.
You just home remedy, done.
The issue with the worms is that you're not conscious of them because you can't see them, you can't hear them, you can't feel them. Yeah. So you have zero anything other than unless you become aware through a paper on 4chan.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. And you know what? As I was doing this, I was just going to hit everything all at once because I was reading these threads and I was like, you know what? Maybe they're right. Maybe the fluoride in the toothpaste is a problem. And so you know what? I looked up a homemade recipe to make your own toothpaste. I brought home the baking soda. You just mix baking soda and water. Yeah. And I went to go do it, and my girlfriend was like, I will break up with you if you stop using toothpaste. She's like, first the garlic, then the fucking worms. Now you're trying to give up you smell like shit. You're fucking farting every minute. It's like you're literally dying. She's like, if you give up toothpaste, it's over. And I was like, Jesus. I can't give up toothpaste yet, I guess. I gotta stick with the fluoride, baby.
You can make your own. You can make it, and then just add mint.
Yeah, I've seen that. I was looking at all that stuff, but it's also, her very reasonable counter-argument was that fluoride does protect the enamel of your teeth.
It does, yeah.
And that baking soda, if you use it too much and brush too coarsely, it removes the enamel of your teeth. So you have to do it within moderation. They recommend once a day, very lightly brush with baking soda. And then that, apparently I think it's alkanizes or something with your mouth. It brings it to a base level pH acidity.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's other things you can do for all that, but
there's a reason why they use fluoride.
Yeah. I mean, I have also read that fluoride is responsible for calcifying the pineal gland in your brain. And a lot of stuff I've seen for people that take iodine was that after they take iodine and they start to decalcify their pineal gland in their brain, they start to have more vivid dreams as well.
Wow.
So You know, I can't give up fluoride, but I can increase my iodine intake.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll try that.
You found a way around it.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, baby, we're gonna make it work.
Iodine. What can you get with iodine in it?
So iodine, it comes in many forms. I believe, I don't honestly know enough to tell you for sure. I know that things that have iodine are eggs. And then also they try to put it in salt, but it's just not enough. Like you need more iodine.
Yeah, it's iodized salt, right?
Yeah, you need something. You need a amount of iodine. If you buy sea salt, it'll say it does not include iodine, which is a required nutrient.
Well, isn't it in fish?
Yeah, I think it is in fish as well.
Yeah.
They recommend that you have, I don't know, X amount per day, but everybody is basically iodine deficient, is what they claim.
All the time, yeah.
Just all the time. But it's not just iodine, because you also need something to synthesize with it as well, so that it actually breaks down and your body can use it. And those were like selenium, magnesium, and zinc, which my multivitamin does have that, and it's also just in different foods as well.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, it seems like the best way to have a healthy diet is to remove sugar, increase your fat intake, and then just try to eat a varied diet.
Yeah.
It basically seems like what good health is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You know, I'm just destroying my whole gut bacteria with a nuke, and we're
every day.
See, yeah, we're gonna see.
Yeah.
At the end of it, I will either be healthier or dead.
And this is what my cousin and my fiance were like. No, you'll die.
Yeah. No, I don't think you'll die. I think that's really dramatic.
I think it is too. Yeah. But, like, you know, my fiance, of course, she pulled out the, like, well, I just don't want to, like, have to bring you to the hospital. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if your stomach hurts that bad, it's like,
yeah. But then you got to think about it, right? It's for science, right? If the worms do exist, and you know that you can remove them, then there's, like, a whole nother vector for health that no one is considering.
Yeah.
Because this is all just the latest hot 4chan information. You know, this stuff came out months ago.
Well, so it's just weird that, like, all of a sudden, like, you would think that, like, someone would be like, oh, hey, there's, like, all these worms in, like, autopsies and stuff. Yeah. This was an argument my cousin brought up. Like, he's like, you know, people who, like, do autopsies of dead bodies don't go like, oh, yeah, man, all those parasites in there are crawling all over the place. Like, you would think that, like, that would be something like, yeah, as soon as you die, there's, like, all these worms. I don't know. Like someone. It's
also worth considering, like, how small are they? How big are they? Like,
that's true.
If they're like pinworms and they're all over, I mean, are they cutting every aspect of you open to find these things? I don't really.
No, I think like if they're doing an autopsy, they're just trying to find the cause of death. So they're usually chest, and they go like, "Is the heart? Oh, the heart was clogged. Job done." You know.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I don't know how thorough it is, but I could see. I think the thing that makes the most sense to me is that everything tells you shouldn't take wormwood, so that gives me a reason to take it. That's how my brain works.
Yeah, I know.
And then there's also, like, there's a pharmaceutical reason for people, for the medical system to not want you to find out worms, right? Because if all of the side effects of worms are true, the die-off and all of that stuff, and you go to the doctors and they give you pills to deal with those die-off but never deal with the actual parasites you have, then you're just there for life, right? They have a buying customer forever, essentially. Because the worms, their life cycle keeps going. They just
don't care.
They eat whatever food you eat, and they care if you're alive, but the die-off is the same effect. You're going to have this trouble over and over and over and over again. And you may think it's because of some other bullshit reason that the doctor gave you a pill for, but... You know, it's not to say that the whole medical system is just bunk, but I do think there's a lot of interesting alternative things to consider.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm in it for the science.
Yeah, I'm in it for science, bro. I feel something happening, and I see physically a reddened toilet. So there has to be.
I mean, that's cause for concern. You keep bringing it up, but...
You know, I'm not really worried about it. If anything, I feel lethargic because I haven't gotten much sleep, but that also could be worm die-off. So...
From what I have... Okay, so this is weird, too. Because the last 2 days, I, like, woke up at 5:45. My body's like, your time, it's up.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hey.
I had that when I first started, too. It's like insomnia or something.
Yeah, I don't know if it's... Because, I mean, like, I would go to bed at, like, 11... and wake up. I mean, like, but it's not unusual for me to wake up that early for work. So it's at the same time like, maybe I'll sleep during the weekend. And
I don't know. I think I'm gonna get a nice long rest after this detox.
Yeah, day 18, you'll just be like a baby.
Yeah, day 18, I'm gonna get a nice big bowl of ice cream, and I'm not gonna feed the parasites. I'm gonna feed myself.
Yeah, and you'll realize how much the ice cream, how little of the ice cream you actually need.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, dude, I think I mentioned this like early, like in a while ago, but
yeah.
I've swapped over to just oat milk.
Yeah, how's that?
Other than cook, it's good. It's just, I don't know, it tastes similar enough. I actually like the taste better than regular milk now. Mm-hmm. I think I'm getting to a point, because like everybody has always, like, I've always heard that if you stop drinking milk, you start to like lose your taste for it. And I think I'm getting to that point now where I'm like, I don't even really want, I love like cream in my coffee, but I'm like, I'll just warm up some oat milk and do that instead. It tastes better now. So
that probably does taste pretty good.
Yeah,
I did really like the oat milk ice cream, so I completely understand.
Yeah, I just like I don't know. It's interesting. It's weird, because eventually people are lactose intolerant and junk.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get there. Maybe I'll become lactose intolerant after this.
I'd be very curious to see.
Maybe the worms were the only ones eating.
It could be. They do like their dairy, from what I read.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's been like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it has. It's been a while, dude. What have you done in 3 weeks? I mean, you've been playing video games.
I have been. I've been a little crack addict. Well, so what happened was, I was supposed to start a project like the end of the week, like that we came back, right? Because we came back on a Tuesday. Mm-hmm. I had like a doctor's appointment and junk, which I can actually talk about the doctor's appointment too. But I was supposed to start a project, and they pushed it back.
Yeah.
And then like I was like, oh, they only pushed it back a week. So I waited that week, and during that week they're like, oh, hey, we're gonna push it back like 2 more weeks. So all the work that I was like, hey, I can't take it because I'm gonna be on this other project now, I should have taken, and so now I've just been kind of like at home hanging out, waiting.
Hey, I mean, I guess, you got to deal with it as it comes, so.
Yeah, exactly. So, but, yeah, I went to the doctor's because I was working, and I just, like, all of a sudden, I just felt like I couldn't hear anybody talk. And it was, like, really weird and out of place, and I'm like, that is unusual, and the first time that's ever happened to me, and then afterwards, I felt like everybody was quieter.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I lost, like, an octave of hearing or whatever, but I felt weird. So I made a doctor's appointment.
Is this before Wormwood or after?
Before.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, I felt like I lost hearing, and so I went, made my appointment at the hearing doctor. He goes in, I go in there, he's an ear, nose, throat, so you gotta, like, he inspects your nose and your throat and your ears and junk, and he's like, everything looks pretty good, we're gonna have you go take a hearing test. So I go to this room, and they lock you inside of, like, a soundproof box.
I've done many hearing tests.
Yes, yeah.
Explain it for the audience.
Yeah. So basically, you go into a room, they put headphones on, and, like, this is a pretty, like, I don't know if you ever seen really high-class, like, headphones.
Oh, yeah.
They put these puppies on, they're just ancient, high-class headphones.
And they hurt, too.
Yeah, they have the metal on them. Yeah.
Prong or whatever.
I wear a hat often, and I was wearing a hat, and she let me wear that underneath, and so I didn't get stabbed, but I could feel the metal. So anyway, they play a bunch of tones at different octaves or whatever you want to call it, and so they start low, and you go like, whenever you hear it, you say yes or whatever, and then they kind of go up to a point where you can't hear, and then they go back down. You're done. They do that for each ear. Mm-hmm. As it ends up, I have really good hearing, and I'm just an idiot. And so the doctor's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, your right ear was slightly worse than your left ear, but you're still like 3 bars away from average, like above average. Like, oh, okay, I guess I just...
You're like, I'm wasting my time. Maybe I'll just get some eardrops.
Yeah. I don't know. And then I'm like, there was no, like, blockage or anything. He's like, no. I'm like, so weird that I feel like I lost hearing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a possibility that, because I forget what the scale was. I think it started at -20,
Yeah.
10, -10, 0, 10, 20. And he was like, 20 is like average. And then I was at like 0 to -10.
Wow.
So like...
Time to be a musician, bro.
I'm terrible. That's more of a hand thing. But, you know... I don't know if that helps you like hear chords and stuff though, does it?
Yeah, it should. I mean, obviously, clearer hearing should. I don't necessarily know because technically, biologically speaking, women can hear more intonations than men more clearly, like different tones and differences between it, which makes sense because as a biological way to hear your child cry and be able to discern the type of crying and maybe what they want, like that sort of thing makes sense evolutionarily why that would exist.
Gotcha.
But you know, I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I can only say that the better you're hearing, it's not going to hurt. Mm-hmm. That's definitely true.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I lived. I'm fine with hearing. It got warm.
Yeah.
I went for a bike. I do my mountain bike.
Yeah.
I broke the. I felt like a dad in a garage, like fixing up his hot rod because it's warm out.
Yeah.
I was outside. I put it outside on a milk crate because I wanted to wash it off. I wanted to lube up the chain and all that stuff. So I had it out, and I like was hosing it off with like an old shirt, and like I wish I had cut off like jeans, but I was just wearing normal jeans and like. You know, hosed it off. I was like lubing the chain while like kids were getting out of school. I'm like, yeah.
How you doing, Bobby?
Yeah.
Come tell me about your day.
Yeah.
I don't have kids yet, but I'd like to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. You see what this is? This is a bike chain.
Yeah. You gotta lube it up like this.
Yeah.
Contract.
I'm like spinning it. I'm like, yeah. You know, I went for a bike ride. The mountain bike trails, because, you know, we have snow here. Mm-hmm. Everything was kind of mud, so I just kind of stayed on, like, the main whatever and didn't go off course very much. But like I was saying earlier, I felt after that bike ride and then, like, the next morning, I was like, everything's fantastic. I am doing great.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I guess we'll see when you're at day 12 of your
That's right.
detox.
Once the blood comes out. That's when I know.
And you'll know.
Yeah. Yeah. What'd you do?
I did go outside as well. Went for a walk with my girlfriend. Honestly, though, I really do miss the winter of the cabin.
Yeah.
I love walking in the snow and freezing my ass off, dude. I think I might just be built for cold weather. I've been researching dopamine more lately because, I don't know, it came up in the recommended for YouTube, and I haven't been watching any YouTube at all, but I was like, you know, I need to understand more about this. So I was looking at it, and then now I got a couple books I'm like bouncing between on it, and not really related to the warm weather necessarily, but the cold aspect. One of the things that I thought was really interesting is they did a study where they submerged people in really cold water for a long period of time, like an hour. And they found that the dopamine that you get from an hour of being in cold water actually lasts for like 3 to 4 hours.
Jeez.
Yeah, and so it was interesting because I didn't understand about dopamine is it's not like your brain just floods with dopamine and then you like seek something and then you consume it and that's it. Yeah. Like what actually happens is you have a baseline level of dopamine that's outputting in your brain, and as you do things that give you dopamine, your dopamine rises above baseline. Mm-hmm. But there is an equal and opposite reaction, a crash, that it dips below baseline and then comes back up to baseline. Yeah. And then your baseline can move depending on what you're doing. So I never understood that aspect, and that's why people feel bad after they like have a high rush of dopamine. Like you'll achieve something, get a bunch of dopamine, and then it'll spike, and then you'll crash immediately. Yeah. And so I was reading about it, and they were talking about how like chocolate will rise your dopamine above baseline like 1.5 times, but it only lasts for like 30 minutes, and then you crash.
Yeah.
And then there is sex is something that rises at 2 times above the baseline, and then you crash.
Yeah.
Cocaine rises at 2.5 times
Ooh.
above baseline, and then you crash.
Yeah.
Caffeine doesn't rise your dopamine, but it does make your dopamine receptors more reactive. So it means dopamine can filter through your system more effectively. So I was thinking, I was like doing as well as amphetamines like Adderall and stuff, rises your dopamine 10 times above the baseline.
Yeah, your ADHD.
Yeah, just spikes your dopamine and then equal crash. But I thought that was really interesting because I've given up caffeine, and I do feel like the effects of dopamine are lessened. Like, I don't necessarily want to do the things that give me dopamine because I'm not drinking caffeine, and I don't feel that much effectiveness for it. So then I'm, like, trying to figure out, like, okay, how do I increase the base level of dopamine in my head and then remove all of the things in my life that give me extraneous dopamine that I don't need? So I have, like, a more stable amount of dopamine, because if you do stuff that's, like, too exciting, like, then you're just gonna rise and then crash immediately after, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like, but isn't life more about, like, riding highs and lows rather than, like, I just want to be a straight line.
I want to be a straight.
Nothing.
I want to have complete I want to have high dopamine that's more consistent and less crashy. And so I think that there's ways you can train it, and there are tools that you can use. It doesn't have to be like drugs specifically. It could just be you abstaining from things in your life that give you unnecessary dopamine, like Reddit scrolling or stuff
TikTok,
like that. TikTok, those sort of things that give you dopamine to balance out more. Because the problem is if you don't have dopamine, you also don't want to do anything, but as well as dopamine is responsible for movement as well. Yeah. So you can move better. Like, people that have no dopamine can't move. They're paralyzed. Yeah. Which is really interesting. So...
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? Because the more, like, if you eat a good meal, like, it feels good. Mm-hmm. And you're more likely to try to get another good meal.
Yeah. Food gives you dopamine, and that's why you pursue food. Yeah. But it can't give you great dopamine all the time. It has to crash so that eventually you come back seeking for food. Yeah. But the problem is that sugar and that consumption of sugar raises your dopamine so high, but doesn't like fulfill any of your actual nutritional needs that well, that you end up just craving more and more and more sugar, but your baseline ends up, just decreasing rising. So you need more sugar to get over that baseline, essentially. And then you just end up being obese or whatever.
Gotcha.
But it is really interesting. Yeah, so other than I walked outside and I've been reading about dopamine, and I guess I've been slowly dying. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. So, like, the dopamine... So, like, I remember a while ago reading about that kind of stuff, because, like, I was doing research on weed. Yeah. Yeah, my favorite kind of research. Yeah. Some kind of drug thing. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I was, like, reading how, like, that affects dopamine stuff. I don't remember, like, reading about, like, I remember stuff like sex and stuff. That would bring you back to... It would, like, slightly dip underneath, but it wouldn't be, like, an equal reaction of, like, you go up to 2 times high and then you go 2 times low. I think it only, like, dips below baseline for a little bit to, like, remove the unnecessary dopamine or whatever, and then...
Yeah, I think you're right. I have to look into it more. The book I'm reading right now is talking about cannabis and what cannabis binds to, because you have receptors in your brain that don't necessarily bind to cannabinoids, but they do work the same as what it's supposed to bind to. Yeah. And then it also talks about people that chronically use cannabis have they lose about 8 IQ as well, which I thought was pretty interesting. It's like, that's a weird statistic that I haven't, from just consistent use of it. Yeah. So I was like, interesting. But, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I even just learning all the parts of the brain and trying to figure it out. It's just, I feel like by understanding these things, you can better master yourself. That's sort of what the end goal, I think, is to have complete self-discipline. But
it's rough.
It is. It's hard. I mean,
brain stuff is weird.
It is weird.
Because it's hard to really actually visualize it, because you go like, oh, this is going on in like a thing that's like maybe this big.
Yeah.
Oh, you're telling me there's like millions of little receptors in a thing this big?
Yeah, and they're charging each other. Yeah. And then those charges correspond to like a behavioral network. And then it's even weirder from the aspect of we are brains.
Yeah, we're
studying.
We're thinking about our brains working, or like, how does that even work?
Yeah.
It's like, you would think I would just understand it.
Yeah. Nope, not at all, dude. It's so strange.
Yeah. This is where, like, whenever I think about that kind of junk, I go, like, there has to be, like, some kind of soul that, like, I don't know. There has to be some kind of separate part that, like, there's brain that has the controls or something.
Yeah.
And then, like, there's another part that's separate that makes, I don't know, moral decisions or something.
Yeah, and there is the prefrontal cortex, which is, I believe, predominantly where people make moral decisions. But if you have too much dopamine, your ability to make high moral decisions is, like, gone. Yeah. Like, you essentially burn dopamine receptors and kill them by having too much dopamine, and then you lose your ability to rationally, like, morally think. So,
isn't it, well, don't you, if you stop intaking a lot of dopamine, everything grows back.
It does repair, but one of the things I saw was it takes like 12 months. Yeah. So it's like, holy shit, okay, yeah, I gotta figure out a way to maintain, you gotta do no fat, bro, you gotta do no sugar, you gotta, I think 12 months, baby, nothing.
I think the biggest thing, if I'm being I really think people wouldn't even be thinking about this kind of junk if, like, the internet wasn't around as much, and people would be like, man, you get a lot of dopamine from these books.
Yeah.
And it's like a 1.2.
Yeah, a 1.1.
Yeah.
Rising baseline. Woo!
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, you can tell when people are, like, addicted to, like, phones and stuff, because it does fill that void. Your brain goes like, good, yeah.
I mean, it happens, right? You try to hang out with people, and they're all. I mean, it sounds like such a boomer topic, right? Like, oh, these fucking kids and their stupid phone. Like, no, dude, I got friends that I hang out with, and it's like that. Yeah. I don't know. So it's hard to keep attention. Like, sometimes you like want the, and as I read more about, like, the difference between pleasure and happiness. Long-term happiness and contentment only comes from, like, connectedness between people. Yeah. Like, all that short-term gratification from pleasure, all it does is increase your stress and create anxiety. Yeah. It's always short-lived. It never actually lasts. And that's the biggest difficulty is because there's the instant gratification, which pushes you away from having delayed gratification, of creating that sense of contentment with yourself. So, it feels like we're in a hostile environment where everything is trying to instantly gratify you to just abuse you as, like, a money, machine, essentially. Like, they just want your money, and they don't care how much they have to exploit you to get it. And you have to fucking have the time to sit down and wade through all this shit in order to figure out how to fucking deal with it, right? Yeah. And, I feel I'm in a lucky position because I can have the time to sit down and I mean, obviously I got to make money, but it's not like, it's not I don't have 3 kids that I made a mistake of having really young. I don't have anybody's support. I mean, I have family that I want to support, but it's like, I got time to sit down and read this shit to master myself, which shit they don't even teach you in school. Yeah. Like, completely useless. Why do we waste all of those fucking years not learning any of this shit? Completely wasted time. Yeah. I had to learn to cook after school. Why didn't they just teach me? And yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to get into the whole rant on the public education system, but it's just, it's cringe, bro.
No, we're good. I mean, yeah, we can just, we might have gotten a phone interview. I was getting a phone call from a guy at work, but I'm just going to ignore it. I told him I wasn't going to be able to take the call, so. But anyway, Yeah, no, dude. The whole thing, like, with... I don't know. The cooking... Yeah, that's weird. I don't understand. Like, our school was pretty good with that kind of stuff. I felt like I learned stuff from school.
You know, I felt like I learned stuff, but I think the stuff that I use now is all stuff that I had to learn myself.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I found the most useful thing from my school was English.
Uh-huh.
My history's bunk, dude. You gotta read the pills, bro. That's where you get the real history.
Well, that's the thing, though.
The giants actually existed.
Like, I would love to believe that, but
Yeah.
like, to me, I look at history and I go like, oh, that's a nice story that we got there, but who knows what actually happened at any of these points?
Yeah, exactly. And we didn't live during that time, so it's all just hearsay at this point.
Yeah, so I just we just got distracted by a thing that is very surprising.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyway,
dopamine, bro. Speaking of instant gratification, look, your phone distracted you.
It did twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
And you let it do that to you.
Well, you
don't even master yourself, bro. You can't ignore it.
It depends on who it is. You know?
It's all that Elden Ring, bro. It's getting to your brain.
Yeah. I will say on the podcast, because I haven't been working, I've put 130 hours in Elden Ring. I think the game's been out for a month now.
Yeah.
Or so? I don't know. It came out end of February. I don't know. It's been my life for like the last few days.
At least 5 days worth of time.
Yeah, exactly. Has just been sucked up.
Yeah.
My cat has, he likes to play fetch.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to train him while he reverse trains me.
Yeah.
He wants to play fetch all the time, right? So what he'll do is he'll bring the ball and he'll rub up against my leg and then like meow once he wants me to throw it, right?
Okay.
So he'll bring a ball in and meow, and I'm like, okay, fine. I turn around, throw the ball. Okay, go back to my desk, go back to my game. Okay, but he's been like, normally I can exhaust him and he's fine. He has been unexhaustible for the last like 6 days.
It's because the quality of your attention has diminished.
I don't think so. We have like one of those wands, with the bird.
I'm telling you, bro, the cat senses when you're not in it to win it. You're not giving it your all.
He's like, why aren't you being a gamer right now, winning Elden Ring?
Yeah, loser.
Yeah. Loser.
You should have finished this game day one when it came out.
Exactly. But yeah. So he's been trying to train me, like every time he meows and sits down, throw the ball. I've been trying to reverse train him by like every day at 3:00 when I'm home, go and play with him. Like literally for like half hour, 45 minutes. Whenever he loses interest, we're done. And that's it. It doesn't work. Cats are...
Sounds like you gotta take your cat for a walk, bro.
I would love to, but he probably wouldn't know how or why. He's kind of dumb.
Yeah, the cat's gonna worry about the philosophical questions of how and why.
No, he just thinks about the ball.
Yeah, there you go.
He wants the orb to be thrown. So, that's just a little bit of an offshoot.
It is.
I was going to go into something else, now I can't remember because I was distracted with my dopamine machine.
Yeah, it's true. Was there anything about conversations with family members that you wanted to bring up?
Conversations with family members that I wanted to bring up. Now, I did talk to my cousin about the worm pill, and I talked to my fiancé about the worm pill. They both said they were terrible ideas.
They disapprove. Yeah, it's because they're weak-minded. They don't believe in science. I get it. They'll probably talk in one hand all about it, fighting an enemy you can't see, but as soon as you bring an enemy that you can't see to the table that isn't named COVID,
no,
they don't fucking care about it. Bullshit.
So now that we've told people about the podcast.
Yeah.
I did tell my cousin about the podcast.
Oh, did you?
And then I told him that, like, you're the one that started the worm pill thing, and that I was doing the podcast with you, and he's like, yeah, no, I'll probably hate it. I'm like, yeah, probably. So if he does actually ever end up, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. I hope he's listening. Because you know what? It's only going to make life more interesting.
Yeah.
It's never not going to make life.
That's what everything is, though.
Yeah.
You can see, like, I don't know. I see positives in everything.
Yeah.
Which is just whatever character. My worms tell me to do this.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't want them to die, but.
Yeah. Maybe killing your worms will just make you really depressed and lonely.
That's what I'm hoping it doesn't do. But so far, I'm on such a high of energy.
Yeah.
My dopamine is at a constant 1.2%.
All right. Yeah, 1.2, baby.
But, so this is something. We'll go back to worms really quick.
Okay.
I wanted to say this while you're talking about the cat thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, what if after this I just don't like my cats anymore?
Yeah, I wonder if, like, people that don't smell the cat urine in their house, it's just because they have toxoplasmosis.
Yeah.
Like, what if, they smell flowers and everybody else is like, man, this smells
Terrible.
And, there is some sort of validity to the crazy cat lady thing, considering, if parasites rewire your brain, or if they rewire rats' brains to like cat urine, then I could completely see them rewiring human brains to like cat urine.
Yeah, Jesus.
And make you crazy.
Ugh. Damn, there was something else there.
Oh, man.
I know. The dopamine.
Yeah, after you're crashing now, bro. You're going below baseline. You're negative 1.2, baby. You're shaking, dude. I see it.
Chocolate.
Your motor functions, they're gone.
Dude, that makes it, honestly, it makes sense because, like, me personally, if I don't, like, warm up myself to doing a physical activity, like, if I don't, like, stretch out, do some, like, little aerobic exercises to get moving, if I just start exercising, like, oh, this is too hard.
Yeah, exercise does raises to above baseline as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So stop exercising. No.
Yeah, that's right. You got to stop exercising to keep your dopamine baseline completely straight. It's got to look like a tunnel, baby.
Damn.
Cut off all the sides.
Yeah.
Nothing. You just see the white light at the end of the tunnel.
Dude, God. Dude, I want to get off the worm pill so bad. But I just thought of something else because dopamine, and you said sex, right?
Yeah.
It's only been one day, but I've noticed a weirdly more amount of libido.
Okay.
Just today.
I'm telling you, the wormwood, just wait till you get to the 10 pills per day, bro. You're like,
NoFap is not possible.
Oh my God. Bro, what is going on here?
I looked at that door handle weird. It's
yeah,
over.
Here, I got this chart. I'm going to go get it.
Okay.
You just talk.
I'll just distract. Yeah, so, hey, you know what we did in the first episode that we haven't done yet? In this new room, we're in a new room from the first episode, by the way, and I never described the surroundings. I am in a wood chair, and Cody here is in a green chair.
Which is made of wood.
It's also made of wood, but it's more green. What is this?
All right, so 12 days ago, I started the worm pill. Okay, so the black days are when I ejaculated. The red days are when I used the interlocking method. Okay, and retained my semen.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the green days are when I didn't do anything.
No fap.
So you can see, like, just the beginning of that is rough.
No more black days.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, dude. I read something from a pastor, and they were like, "You have a little card that every time you have a black day, that's when you ejaculate."
Damn, that's great.
But yeah, like when did we take our trip? Like the 6th or the 7th or something like that.
It was earlier than
like I had a clear 2 weeks, no problem.
Yeah.
And I start wormwood, and it's all over, bro.
We got back on, I think, the 1st?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would have been, yeah.
Yeah, so my chart literally looks like several black days in a row, and then interlocking method every 3 days after it. In order to retain semen.
Well, that'll be a good thing.
Yeah.
For me. Because, you know, like,
Yeah,
I'm not a high libido person to begin with.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how you handle.
My wife she'll love this.
Yeah, she'll come home from that long day of work, and you're gonna just be naked.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm maybe wearing an apron.
Yeah, rose petals on, fucking cookies in the oven, candles lit.
I'm like, instead of like getting close to something while, you know, getting close to the counter while chopping, I have to like hunch over.
Yeah. You just have fucking permanent tent pants. You're gonna go to the next family gathering and you're gonna have to just crawl everywhere. You're like, dude, you don't understand.
Hey, Grandma.
I have to expel this testosterone.
God.
Everything you see just immediately triggers your libido.
God. So, now that we got all that out of the way,
yeah.
how would you... You want to talk about media?
Yeah, let's talk
How would you like some media?
What do you mean, media?
I watched some media.
Okay. How was your media?
It was good.
Yeah, is it something that everyone else is watching?
Maybe, I don't know.
Did you read relevant discussions from other people on the internet that connected you socially about these particular media that you've consumed?
If you consider the media to be in audio form while doing other things, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched that media because I heard it on other media.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's a media cycle you're in.
It is. I'm media cycling.
Well, now that piracy is legal in Russia, you can get all the media you want whenever you want.
That's right. I'm canceling Netflix, baby. Moving to Russia.
I don't even need Netflix. I can get thousands of hours of Chinese TV dramas in Russian.
That's right.
Immediately at the doorstep of my file system.
Damn.
For the low cost of free.
Well, the internet.
Yeah, that's true. You pay for internet.
Yeah, you got to do that at least. But so, I watched Tinder Swindler.
Oh,
have you heard of this?
I have no idea what that is.
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's a documentary.
You need to cancel it.
Yes. Now, I couldn't before, but now I can. My VPN is set to Russia.
There you go.
But basically, the show is that there's a girl. You start out with a girl. I don't know. This is a really good show. I don't know if I want to like spoil it.
Just spoil it. I don't think I've ever. I mean, I don't.
But
watch
like,
stuff.
would our I don't know. I don't think our listeners. How about this? I give you a premise, and I won't tell you how it ends.
Just spoil it.
Yeah,
who cares?
I like the ending. Anyway, all right. Let's see how far I get. Okay. All right, so there's a girl, okay, and she like has, oh my god, they start out and she's like, yeah, no, I have 1,036 matches on Tinder, like that's a lot. Yeah. I don't know. I had a Tinder at one point. It was before I met my fiance, and let's just say that the one date that I tried to go on was a failure. So, I'm not a big fan. But this girl has had 1,000 whatever matches. So she matches with this guy, okay. She matches with him. He's like, oh, why don't we meet for, like, coffee or something at this, like, 5-star fancy hotel? And she's like, oh, yeah, sure. And so she, like, looks up his last name, and he's, like, the son of the owner of, like, a big diamond corporation that, like, they just sell diamonds, mine diamonds, all that junk. So she goes like, oh wow, this guy must be loaded. So they like go to this really fancy hotel in England, because that's where this takes place. So they're there, they're drinking coffee, they get like a really nice conversation. She goes like, no, it was great, it was fantastic, like he was like a really good guy. So you know, he offers, hey, I gotta go on business to like Venice or something like that. Maybe Venice, I don't know. Some other country. Do you want to take a ride on my private jet, and we'll go and fly to this place, and you can spend the night, and I'll fly you back tomorrow? And she's like, yes, yeah, why not? You know, he was a really nice guy. So they're going onto this jet. There is the girl, the guy, and then the guy has like a wife and a kid. and I guess the guy did disclose this beforehand. So she's like, oh, it's kind of weird that she's like on the flight with us and stuff, but whatever. She, they get on the flight. She talks to the other lady. She's like, the girl's like with the kid. She's like, oh no, he's really good. He's supporting us. It's too bad that we couldn't work it out, but at least he's supporting us. We're flying around. We're still living. Whatever. With this guy as well, he has like a business partner that works with him, and then like a bodyguard. Okay, so these are just other main characters, right? So you go in, they fly to Venice or whatever. They make love at a hotel room. The kid and the mom stayed at a different one. They make sweet love, and then like in the morning, the guy's like, "Oh man, I gotta fly out to freaking another country again. I'll get you home. So here's your ticket. See you later." Okay, so she flies home. They continue texting. Okay, then you go to another woman. Okay, and she goes like it's a very similar story. Hey, I met this guy, and he's like son of a diamond, whatever. And he like asked me on this date, and like we had like a really good time. We keep texting afterwards and stuff like that. So, it kind of sets up the two girls. Okay, so now go back to girl one, and she's like, "Oh, hey, when am I gonna see you again?" He's like, "Oh, well, maybe we could meet up here, but I could buy you a ticket. Just send me your passport." So she sends her passport, because how else are you going to book the ticket? Mm-hmm. Sends a passport, and then she like flies out and meets the guy again. It was like a great time again. And then she like flies back. Okay. And then the guy, once she gets back and like has like a few days, the guy's like, "Hey, I'm moving in with you. Go find an apartment. The budget's like $6,000 a month. Like something ridiculous." She goes, like, picks out an apartment. She's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe we're moving in together," and all this stuff. She, finds one that she likes. She, like, puts a little payment thing in there, and she's like, "Okay, good." And he's like, "Oh, good. I should be off within a few days." That night, at, like, 3 in the morning, he sends a video of his bodyguard with, like, a bloody face, and he's all messed up. And the guy's like, "Yeah, no, my enemies found us, and we're being tracked. It's really bad." And so she kind of goes like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" All that stuff. And eventually, they talk more and more and about the enemies and about all this other stuff. And like at some point, the girl gets asked, "Hey, can you open a credit card in your name? Okay. And like send a picture of it to me, and so that way I can stay at a hotel, and the enemies, they can't track my card anymore. I also need some SIM cards and some other stuff." So she like sends him all this stuff, and she's like, "Okay, as long as as long as you're gonna pay me back and all that stuff, we're moving in together still, right?" He's like, "Yeah, but it's really dangerous for me to go home right now because I can still be tracked." So she sends all the stuff. He like keeps asking for more and more money. She has to keep raising the card limit, and she has to like take out loans to like pay it off. She's like, "Hey, I'm getting really worried about money." And the guy goes like, "Oh, no, don't worry about it. Here, I'm going to go to the bank today, and I'll wire transfer you money." Okay, so she's like in the hole at this point, 200,000 euros, which is a lot.
Goodness. Yeah, wow. She's been playing this game that long?
Not even that long. It's the fact that he takes like private jets, and he's got like 5 people that work with him.
Yeah.
Right? And so he's like constantly buying like tickets and junk like that, flying from place to place, because he's like, "Oh, his business still has to go on." So he sends a picture of a document that says wire transfer from account XYZ to account XYZ to her account, and it's like 500,000 rather than 200,000. She's in the hole. She's like, "Oh, okay, hey, he's paying me a lot of money. Like this is a lot, so I'll just if he needs more, I can. The money's coming." Mm-hmm. So she, keeps giving him more money. And so the guy, keeps saying like, "Oh, the money should be in. I don't know what you're worried about. Like, I'm gonna pay you." They kind of get in like arguments and stuff like that. And he's like, "Look, I'm running away from my enemies. I can't really, I can't help you right now. I get what you're saying, but I can't do anything about it." So eventually he's like, okay, I think I'm safe. Fly over here. I'll write you a check for like 200,000. Okay, so that way you're good for a while. And she's like, okay, finally. So she flies out, meets him. He writes a check for 200,000. She goes back, tries to cash a check, or goes to cash a check, and they take it. And they're like, okay, the money will be in your account, and blah blah blah. So she like leaves the next day, no money. Next day, no money. Next day, no money. She calls the bank. She's like, I should have a wire transfer, and like a check, and the person's like, well, okay, the check we cannot cash. There's no money in the account that we're taking it from. Also, there's no wire transfer. There's nothing coming in. None of this exists. And so she just basically gets really screwed, and she doesn't really realize it because she's still in love with this guy.
Yeah.
She's in love with the idea of this guy because she had such a good time with him, and she was like essentially the guy was sweeping her off of her feet, right? Like, we're moving in together, we're gonna do all this other junk. Go back to Other Girl. Okay. She flies out to where the guy flew to after leaving the hotel room with the other girl. Okay. So, like, not the Venice, but like Barcelona or whatever. She flies out. And she's like, he invited me out so that way we could hang out at this like millionaire, billionaire yacht club area. And we were like partying and all that stuff. We're at the club, like, he's like just shelling out money, like buying all this cool stuff. And like, we're having a great time. And, it was probably the best summer of my life. So, like, for, like, 3 months, she just hung out with this guy, and he just paid for everything. For him, for her, for his girlfriend, not the girl. Yeah. Right? Not either of the girls involved. A separate girl. That's his girlfriend. That's, like, a model. And, like, just has all this cool stuff. Right? At the end of summer, she's like, that was the best summer of my life. That was great. She flies back home. And then he goes like, he sends a video of his bodyguard, all bloody.
Oh my goodness.
And like all messed up. And he goes like, my enemies are after me.
I wonder how many times this guy did this.
This is the insane thing.
Yeah.
At some point, girl number one calls Amex, which is the person she got the credit card with, right? And she starts like saying all the things that this guy has done, and they're like, stay in your home, we'll be there in a minute. They come to, like, the Amex guys come to the door, and they're like, do you have a picture of this guy? And she shows them a picture of the guy, and they're like, that's him.
This guy's been doing this
forever.
Yeah.
And the insane part about it is that, like, he's not even really wanted for anything because it's the girls taking out the cards, taking out the loans, and just tricking them.
Yeah, so it's morally wrong and ethically wrong, but legally not wrong.
Yes. And so, I mean, like, it kind of, like, unfolds, and then, like, detectives get involved, and they try to, like, figure everything out. But essentially, this guy was eventually arrested, but he is free right now. Like, he's just out just doing whatever.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that was really interesting. I watched the documentary. It was pretty damn good.
Wow. That, honestly, I don't even need to watch it now. You're giving me all the dopamine as if I had watched it.
Exactly.
So now I'm going to crash below baseline.
Well, I never told you about girl number 3.
Oh, there's a third one.
Or his hometown, or his mom, or, any of that. So.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's more to uncover.
That's right. So now there's stuff for people that want to watch it.
Yeah. Another Netflix documentary, baby.
So.
No, that does seem really interesting. And it's also kind of funny how it blurs the line of, not completely illegal, but should be basically illegal.
Yeah.
To completely manipulate somebody to that extent.
Well, it's just insane because the guy, like, flaunts that he has a lot of money. Yeah. When it's just money from the other girl. Yeah. That he's, like, schmoozing. Yeah. Like, honey, I need you to take more loans. My enemies are coming.
Yeah, you can probably just consistently keep that up the whole time. Yep. I mean, that would never be a problem.
He just would move, like, to, like, 3 or 4 girls.
Yeah, just go back on Tinder, swipe a couple more times.
Here you go. Hey, I'm a billionaire. Come on in.
You love money. I love money. Let's get together.
That's right. And he's just a dreamboat,
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. How long was that? I felt like I was talking for a good, like...
Honestly, it couldn't have been that. At least 20 minutes.
Yeah. That was, like, nonstop, too.
But not, dude. I like it because I think you probably gave the documentary faster than it would have taken me to sit down and watch it.
I mean, that's the gist of it, you know? So... Damn.
So now I have something I can get off the Russian torrent sites.
There you go.
Yeah, a Netflix documentary.
It'll be in Russian, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's time to start learning Russian, bro.
Who knows if they probably didn't do a Russian dub of it.
I don't.
You never know, though.
Yeah, I don't.
So.
Well, man, anything else interesting happened to you lately?
Damn. I mean, not a whole lot. You know, we left the cabin.
Now we're back in this illusion. The shadow of reality.
We're back in the sewers.
Yeah, we don't have to... here we push buttons to make food to sustain our life. You know, in the cabin, it felt real. Yeah. Right? You were there. You had to cut trees to get wood to fill the fireplace to stay warm.
That's right.
You know, you had to rely on Sam's family to provide the propane necessary and the propane accessories to keep the cabin warm.
Yep.
We had to take venison and veal from things that were already killed as if we had killed them.
Yeah.
And cook them in the cold cabin in order to eat rather than go up to somebody and say, "Yes, I'd like the number 9."
That's right.
With a large drink. Please add extra sugar.
I would like the... do you have one with carbonation and high fructose corn syrup?
Yeah.
I'll take that one.
And see, here, you... in the cabin, we just had to have sex with each other.
Yeah.
But here, you just look at a screen and pretend you're having sex.
That's right.
But you're actually just conditioning yourself to jerk off to another man having sex with another woman.
Yeah. Or another man.
Or another man.
I mean, the cabin changes.
Yeah. If the cabin changes men.
That's right. I do miss the woods.
Yeah, the woods. I really miss the sun reflecting off of the snow.
Yeah.
Everything feeling. I miss the clean air.
You know the difference.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I come back here and I'm like polluted air. Yeah, I gotta breathe an extra 10 breaths to get one completely good breath like I did there. Breath. Yeah.
Do you know what's weird? So like, whenever we first went for a walk at the cabin,
yeah,
I was huffing and puffing.
Yeah. I
wasn't tired, but I think my body has like a regulator for like how much oxygen is normal. It's like, this is too much oxygen. Yeah. I need to adjust by just taking in a ton of air so I can get the nitrogen or whatever. So
I honestly believe that, you know, maybe the goal in life is just get a little piece of property and build a fucking cabin on it.
That's it.
Get your Crown Royale. Get some deer heads to mount on the wall.
Well, you got to shoot the deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that'll be your meat for the winter.
Literally.
Yep.
That's all you need.
Yeah. Damn, dude. Do you want to try the chocolate?
Yeah, honestly,
it's your, you know.
I've been, in order to get rid of sugar intake and consumption, I saw that there was 100% cacao.
Yeah.
Chocolate. And you know what? It's an acquired taste.
It's bitter.
But you get used to it pretty fast.
Yeah, I've had it, I like the, is that Lindor?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've had the, little, circular ones, whatever those are called. And those are pretty good. My worms were asking where the sugar is.
Literally gone.
You know that has caffeine in it, right?
Oh, does it?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that, no. Well, shit. I've only been eating 3 squares a day, though, so...
Yeah.
Just something to keep my dopamine up while I'm destroying my entire gut microbiome. One nuke at a time.
One nuclear carbon pill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm going to have to... I've been drinking tea with probiotics, which I guess just means literal bacteria in tea.
Yeah.
To build your gut biome. So I'm hoping, at some point, after the nukes of Wormwood.
You know what you should try is kombucha. You ever had that?
I have heard of that. I had a
Yeah.
friend that used to make it. And
Really?
you get, like, as you make it, it creates this, like,
Film.
hockey puck thing.
Yeah.
That it's really bizarre looking.
It's gross.
In a jar.
You should do that. Kimchi and sauerkraut, which are kind of the same thing, but, you know, different cultures.
That's interesting. That would be an interesting idea. Have you ever heard of yerba mate before?
No.
I've literally never heard of it, but I was listening to that dopamine podcast, and then I started reading the dopamine stuff. But people have been using yerba mate, which is a type of tea. It comes from a leaf, as a alternative to coffee. And
Really?
it has caffeine, and apparently it also has some other beneficial effects with synthesizing. Like, I believe it preserves the dopamine receptors or something.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll get some of that and we'll try it on our next podcast.
Weird.
Yeah, really strange. I've never heard of it before. My entire life.
Well, what's that weird one? That weird new drug that's like on the like if you go by like a what are they called? Head shops.
Yeah.
If you go by one of those, is it kratom?
Yeah, kratom. You talking
Yeah.
about kratom?
Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't
man.
that like...
That's literally just opioids, I believe.
No, well, so what it... Well, I don't think so, because I've heard of people that were addicted to opioids eating kratom to get off of opioids, because it doesn't have the... like, it doesn't make you addicted to it.
You know, when I read about it, and I've had a friend that has done it for a while, it seems like it mimics the effects of opioids, and so it can be addictive. But honestly, I don't know. I haven't tried it. I don't know. Well, it's legal to buy. It's not illegal.
Yeah, exactly.
And as I get more interested in nootropics, and that is min-maxing your system with weird pills and stuff, you know, maybe it's worth trying.
I mean, at some point you got to try weed, but you know that's
I might as well lose 8 IQ points. Just go straight
just
for
one
it.
weed hit, and you're like,
one weed hit, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to read books anymore.
This is way cooler.
Yeah, I'm done with these books, bro. Book reading, too much work.
But so that was something interesting about the dopamine thing. Is I think people like, I don't know if this is real. I don't know if this is just weed science or whatever. But like the dopamine curve, it doesn't drop. Like if you have like an opioid or whatever, it drops way down. Mm-hmm. Like the period where you need to like go back up to baseline takes forever. But with like weed, I guess it's more of a steady decline. It doesn't necessarily dip under for very long.
That's interesting. The book I was reading showed an interesting graph as well. It was kind of like a bell curve, but as your dopamine increases to really high amounts, you become more irritable, and then if it lowers, you become lethargic. And so you want to try to be in the middle, which I guess is just another case of everything in moderation, baby.
That's right.
Just gotta
live life, damn it.
Yeah, do everything once or consistently. Just every other week, shuffle. You know, pick a different drug. Do them all.
I guess crack.
Yeah, microdose, whatever you gotta do, bro. Yeah, take your activated charcoal, you know, whatever works.
Yeah.
Everything in moderation.
Do you see, this is local news. This will only really affect, I mean, not even really us, but a local area. In our area, there's 2 now that have decriminalized magic mushrooms.
Oh, really?
The second one recently has happened.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. So we may be getting closer and closer to people legally being able to microdose this stuff.
I mean, it already is not criminalized in a few areas in our state.
Cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we'll be Denver soon enough.
Yeah, we will. Oh, man.
But, yeah. I just saw that the other day, and, you know.
You know what? I would rather that stuff get legalized than Simulant chicken nugs.
That's right,
get legalized. That stuff actually probably gives you cancer.
Probably.
Just eat the chicken, damn it.
Dude, I don't know. Like, you grow the meat. I understand people. I understand the people that are like, I don't want to kill animals. Yeah. I understand that because you look at it, you're like, oh, that's kind of a cute animal. I don't really want to kill that.
Yeah.
So I will stop eating. But the people do it for health reasons. I think that's a little bit wonky. I think it's like a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Because like, where are you getting all of these nutrients other than pills.
Yeah, some of those vitamins you can only get from meat. So.
Yeah. That's a weird one.
Yeah, at a certain point, the meat is still just going to rot.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You might as well eat it, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, you might as well just eat all the meat.
Might as well just eat you might as well feed the parasites while you're at it.
That's right. My parasites will not enjoy the 100% cacao.
Yeah, it's true.
Chocolate.
Which, it tastes pretty good. It's not bad.
While you're chewing it, it's dry, so
Yeah.
like my mouth is like, ooh. As soon as it's like gone and melted, I'm like, yeah, it's just chocolate.
All the fat hits your brain, and you're like, yes,
yes, Daddy.
finally.
Finally, anything. So yeah, you're tired.
Yeah, didn't you say something about cat models or something? Before?
Oh, cat societies.
Yeah, what is that?
Okay, so cat society. I've been thinking about this. This is a non-sober thought.
Okay.
But I've been thinking about cat society recently because I have 2 cats. So like, if you think about it, and this is just going to sound stupid now that I'm saying it out loud. So, cats live in our society as a sub-society. They don't really understand what we do or like why we do anything, and they don't really need to. Their society only demands that they are being fed and that they have stuff to do sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're a cat, and it's just like you were talking about the hamster before, running on the wheel and how it looks stupid, but to like a female hamster, that's hot, that's great.
Yeah, they love it.
Exactly. As a cat, like, why do they even have to think about what we're thinking about or what we're doing? Why do they even care if we like, oh, hey, I disappeared, I went to the store. They don't even care this is a store. They're just like, hey, is my food bowl full? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to pet me now? Do it. I don't know.
So wait, what was you were thinking...
society?
Yeah, so you were thinking about that they're like a parallel sub-society, and what was the conclusion?
They have their own society because the cats, right, they form their own groups.
Yeah.
But the humans are part of me and my fiance are part of the cat's group.
Yeah.
We're part of a family. If we sit on the couch, the cats sit on the couch,
okay.
right? We all hang out.
Yeah. So
we're part of their society, but they're a separate section of our society. Does that make any sense?
I think I'm getting some of it.
Okay.
So your conclusion is just that they are their own society within our society, right?
Yes.
Similar to like all of their pets.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just weird that like literally their lives, at least house cats, 100% rely on us to exist in order for them to continue their society. Whereas we kind of just make it whatever.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if you took a domesticated house cat and you threw it in the wilderness, how long it would live.
I don't think it would live very long.
But, like the cats that we've brought in from the outside over the years, they just adapt to the house cat life.
Yeah, they get fat and lazy because it's easy.
So, I wonder if we threw those cats back outside, would they be able to survive?
I think they would know. Yeah. I think they would. They have the stuff figured out already.
I think it could just be innate. There's got to be somebody that did a test where they're like, all right, we're going to love this cat for 10 years and throwing it to the fucking wolves. And then we're just going to keep a heart rate check on it. And as soon as it stops beeping, we'll know when the cat died.
Jesus.
That's the test.
I don't even know. There's probably like somebody's cat that escaped that like lived for like another 8 years and it came back and was like, hey, but
it's true. There's also an underground cat society because if your cats did escape, I'm sure some neighbor would be like, oh, it's a cat, and then go and feed it, right?
Yeah.
And then it would live in the underground.
Yeah,
in the trash cans.
That's another cat society though, because there's wild cat, not really wild. They have collars on, but they're people's cats that run around the neighborhood. It's like. Yeah. By the way, I bought some catnip seeds.
Yeah.
I'm going to be planting those soon. I was going to get some wormwood seeds before they become illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy the wormwood plant and I'm just going to start growing it. Because you know what?
Aren't they like a weed?
They tell me I can't have it. I'm have it. You know what? Wormwood's in the Bible, bro.
Yeah. This is a holy plant.
It said that in Revelations, the star named Wormwood would come down and fill the water with wormwood. Like 75% of the Earth going to be coated in water and wormwood, and 1/3 of the population is going to die. But you know what? I think they're going to die because they're actually just parasites. That's what I think.
Entire bodies made up of parasites.
I don't think wormwood is bad for your system. I think it's a lie, bro.
Yeah.
I think my bloody stool is the result of the activated charcoal.
I think 100% yes. Yeah. I don't think that is
just the sheer lack of sleep. I gotta say, out of everything, it's gonna be great to sleep again after.
You think that the wormwood's keeping you awake though?
I don't know. I'm not honestly sure, dude.
When do you take it?
I take it right in the morning.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
I take it like 20 minutes before 20 to 30 minutes before I eat food.
See, I do it after I eat food.
I don't know what the efficacy of it is.
They don't really tell you on the package.
It just says take 10 a day. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take all 10 right in the morning when I wake up.
Yeah. That I look, if nothing happens by like day 6 or 7, I'm just going to be like, it's not worth it.
Honestly, if by day 6 or 7 nothing happens and you don't feel any better, then who knows? I mean, is it even worth getting to the...
I'm not going to continue.
Yeah.
I will just stop right
You'll just keep the wormwood. Maybe you do a 1-week detox every year.
Like, what I was thinking, like, whenever I first started, I'm like, why don't they just say take... Like, I get the parasite life cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if only you could, like... There's got to be some kind of, like, science to it where you go, like, oh, hey, I craved a lot of sugar. The moon is almost full. I will take wormwood tonight to kill them off.
Yeah, I have seen different protocols. Like, one of the protocols I was looking at was, like, this lady was like, okay, so you got to take black walnut, you got to take your cloves, and you got to take wormwood. And you're going to ramp it up over time. And then after you get through I think hers was longer. I think it was like 20 days. After the 20 days of doing that, then you got to take wormwood, 7 pills of wormwood every week, once a week, and in order to keep a maintenance of keeping the stuff dead. And then you just take cloves and then the black walnut, like a couple pills every so often. But
it's so weird to me how, like, why do you need to deworm that often? You know what I mean? Are we literally ingesting that many worms?
I don't know. It's worth... I know... I guess it depends. This is also from a woman who said the way that you kill these parasites in your body, aside from just doing a detox, is to build this zapper gun and just shock yourself. Because everything has a specific vibrational frequency, and you can detect if things are in your body based on what frequency they're emitting, and then you just shock yourself to kill them.
And then what you do is you take a crystal and you coil it in copper.
Yeah. You know what the best part of this is so like this might just be another conspiracy, but I was reading this fucking book, and some of the stuff seems like it could be legit, right? Like, okay, you got migraines, maybe you have a gas leak in your house. That
seems pretty reasonable, yeah.
Like, okay, and then she was saying, like, if you have acne, it's because of this specific parasite. And I'm like, okay, I don't know for sure. And then she's like, if you want to cure cancer, you gotta just deworm yourself. And it's like, okay, maybe there is something to be said about the parasites creating cancer. But then, like, this all turns into a giant conspiracy because she died of cancer.
No.
So it's like, bruh, did somebody kill her with cancer, or did they just prevent her from using her devices, which she could use to... Is it just a lie, bro?
Ugh.
I don't know.
I don't think anything to do with electrocuting yourself. I think that's probably...
You know what, man? Far. I don't know. Maybe I'll build her zapper gun before the next podcast.
Look, and then you'll be just as insane. You'll be like, I'm curing the cancer. Yeah. You're just like shocking your leg.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I think I got testicular cancer.
Jesus.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. All this reading about this stuff gives me dopamine. That much I know.
Yeah, so you enjoy yourself.
There is something to be said about all of... my cousin asked me today, he's like, what's the, like, weirdest self-help stuff that you've read? that like the weirdest suggestions, and I told them like one of the strangest suggestions that I haven't fully implemented yet that I did think was really interesting in How to Think and Grow Rich. The guy like the end of the book is like, so he suggested that you read autobiographies of really famous like important people, figures of history. And then you read their life and all history and just consume all media you can on them. Know them so well that you can imagine them in your head. And then what you do is, whenever you have a problem, you close your eyes and you imagine going to a round table of all of these figures. And they will literally come to life as you talk to them.
Jesus.
Because you know them inside and out. It's as if you were their longtime friend.
Yeah.
And you know all about like if it was a general, all the battles and everything. I mean, he'll be like, back in when I fought this fight in the Civil War. Like, this is what I did. I kicked their ass. Like, you know. And so I thought that was a really strange piece of advice.
It was good up until the round table part. I
think it could work, right? Like, I think there is and there has been studies that have been done where people's mood and happiness improve when they think of their ancestors.
I do it all the time.
That is proven.
Yeah.
So I'm sure learning about your history and culturally where you come from has a huge advantage to maybe connecting yourself to ancestral knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Jung is right and there is some sort of linkage of memories that maybe aren't completely containable in the conscious but are in the unconscious that you can dredge up or, sort of deal with, like Maybe there is that collective unconscious for your race.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. How? Yeah.
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 Well, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
I think that was it, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Oh?
You
got a list?
I do.
All right.
Yeah, but we can just... This one's easy.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Friend who called while we were driving up to the cabin has suggested that we hang flyers for our podcast, specifically in bathroom stalls.
Honestly, not a bad idea.
I know. I think that because all right, if you're in a public restroom, all right, you've been eating your wormwood. You got to take a fat dump. The worms are coming tonight. Like, and you look up and you're like, Roving Slant.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not doing anything right now.
Yeah, might as well.
Type it in on your phone.
Yeah, got something to listen to while you're, shitting angel hair pasta and blood. Jesus.
But yeah, dude.
All right, maybe we'll take that advice. Maybe we'll start hanging flyers around.
We're just going to start visiting public restrooms.
Yeah. Give me another reason to go explore public restrooms. Lord knows I needed a reason to do that.
Check the toilets for worms.
Exactly. Beautiful. Yeah, we might as well see if we can accrue worms so that when we do our next detox 6 months from now,
that's right,
we actually see some visual indication that they're inside of us.
Yep. That's what I've been wanting this whole time.
There you go.
So...
Well, you know what? Maybe you'll call for a podcast a week from now and be like, bruh, we need to do this now.
I was wrong.
Here's the picture. These things were coming out of my fucking wrist, bro.
I'm like Spider-Man watching big pin
little worms. But my wife was screaming. She started taking the fucking scram bottle immediately. Just 10 pills.
She started at 10.
Yeah, started at 10.
Oh my goodness.
All right. I guess until next time.
Yeah. Where are we in our digital world?
I don't know, man. I think we're in the shadow of existence right now.
We're in the shadow of the cabin.
Yeah. In the shadow. Yeah, we're society and cat society commingle.
Ah, yes. Cat society.
Yeah. Filled with our toxoplasmosis and our love of cat urine.
Yeah.
While we try to kill these parasites.
Once we got this, dude, I actually got a fresh batch.
There you go.
Oh, dude, what was the thing? Now we have to do this really quick.
Yeah.
In South Park, do you remember the stupid... Do you ever watch South Park?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, there's the episode where cheesing, where they have the cat on the stretcher, and then you show another male cat, and they
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. After the podcast, we're going cheesing, dude.
Perfect. Let's do it. A reason